Welcome to Undercurrents of Romance, the show that celebrates every subgenre of romantic fiction. In each episode, I peel back the layers of your favorite love stories and chat with the talented authors who bring them to life. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn. Now, let's dive in with today's guest. Hello, romantics. I'm here with wife and husband writing team, Emily and Austin, to talk about their new romantic comedy, Book Boyfriend. Welcome, Austin and Emily.
Hi, we're so happy to be here.
Thanks so much for having us, Tracy.
Oh, it's my pleasure, really. I enjoyed this story so much. I have never read anything quite like it, so it was a true pleasure. So thank you for this. Before we get into talking about Book Boyfriend, would you mind just getting us started by introducing yourselves, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We are a married co-writing team. We've been together since high school. We've been writing together since after college, and now we're married, and this is our fourth adult romance to come out. Our first one was The Roughest Draft, and we are just so excited to be writing another bookish romance.
Great. Emily, you both wrote a number, I noticed on your website that you've written a number of YA books before. Was it the roughest draft? That's
Yeah.
what, yes. Uh, Tell us about that journey going from YA authors to
Yeah.
adult fiction writing.
We started writing together very young, and so like YA really felt natural to us. And when we were talking about love, like we fell in love in high school, so like it felt very. That's what love felt like to us, was like high school love. And then as we got older and we got married and we just, we live on our own, and we didn't connect as much to the writing the YA romance. We wanted to write more adult characters going through adult things. And so it was a really great, we were really excited to have the opportunity to write for adults. And it felt really natural for us and to how we had now, we're thinking about love in a different way.
Yeah, great. Austin, why romantic comedy out of all the genres, mystery, sci-fi, horror? Why romantic comedy? Comedy, what drew the two of you to that genre?
Absolutely. I mean, it's in large part what Emily mentioned, which is that our romance has been an integral part of our writing partnership. And so writing love stories and characters finding each other and learning to blend their lives in unique and fun ways felt very true to our own story. And as we were sitting down to work on these stories and these characters, it became a lot of fun to draw from our favorite parts of our own romance and our own relationship. We're also just huge fans of the genre. I come to it through Emily. One of the best decisions I am capable of making, I think, is listening when she tells me, you should really read such and such. You should really watch such and such. I think you might like it. And because the answer is almost invariably, yeah, I do. And I was not a native reader of YA or romance or rom-coms, but as Emily fell in love with these genres, she passed them right to me, and I got to say, "Wow, you're right. This is great." And so that, in and of itself, has been a big part of our relationship, and so writing in that world was very natural.
Who doesn't like to laugh, right?
I mean, yeah, like it's
Absolutely.
delightful.
Yeah, great. Well, the concept for Book Boyfriend, for me, it was so fun, so refreshing, and I'm very curious about if you recall what sparked the original idea for this book. I don't know, Emily, do you want to try that one?
It's funny because we've been trying to write this book for a really, really long time. So, like the original idea, we probably were trying to write in like 2018, and it just came from a love of bookish communities and this idea of this girl who is so, she's in love with with fantastical characters, and she gets paired with someone who she thinks really is not fantastical or interesting in any of those ways. We really love to show how like sometimes the people in your life, there's like an ordinary magic to it. And so that has always been the guiding like principle of the book in all these iterations we've tried to write over 7 years of looking to the people in your life and finding what resembles the fantasies you read about.
Yeah. Jennifer's innocence well, her, yeah, I consider it like her innocent infatuation with
Yes.
is it Elytheum? Am I saying
Yes.
that correctly? Elytheum
Yes.
Courts, with that romantasy series. I, I found that just a lot of fun, and it really drew me in. I could really feel her excitement. Have either of you ever experienced that excitement about a series like Jennifer?
I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
think many.
Yeah.
It's been a large part of our reading experience,
Yeah.
our viewing experiences of movies and series and stuff. Like since we were kids, we were the
Yeah.
ones with our noses buried in big fantasy books.
Yeah.
And so that is part of what made this idea feel so rich and ready to write and also so fun to engage with. As you're saying, Jennifer is a character who is close to our own hearts in that respect. And it was
Yeah.
very easy to write the depth of her fandom.
And I grew up in the Twilight era, and so like when I remember when Twilight came out, it was kind of the first book that I read, and I was like, oh no, like I'm getting through the book too fast. It's gonna be over soon. I'm gonna have to meet these characters, and that was just like a memory that has stuck with me. And it's wonderful whenever you find a series like that you're like, I don't ever want to finish it.
Now, you built into the story this what you refer to as the experience, the Elytheum experience, and basically, for those who haven't read the book yet, it's this immersive world that the author of the and forgive me, I've forgotten the author's name in the story, but she brought this or she built this experience for fans of the series, and they can come. It's almost like a Harry Potter world where you can go in and you can dress and have just really get immersed in that story or that environment. Have either of you ever done that before? Is there even such a thing out there? Is this totally from your
There is such
imagination?
a thing.
We've discovered.
We have
Okay.
been to Renaissance
Yeah.
fairs, which is kind of
Yes.
another analog that allowed us to draw some of those experiential touches. But actually, the immersive fantasy and Regency experiences, there are also like Regency balls,
There's Bridgerton balls.
Bridgerton ones.
Yeah.
These
Okay.
to our like we only became aware of these relatively recently, and they really kind of unlocked the concept of the book for us. We
Yeah.
thought, wow, this is a fun way to engage with.
Interestingly, like the biggest example when we started writing this book that we could draw from, there's like an X-Men experience where
Yeah.
you can like go and seem like you live within like
The
yeah,
Xavier's School. I
exactly.
think there's a Game of Thrones one. I
Okay.
think there's like a do feasts and stuff.
So
So it's definitely like a
we were like,
growing
we need to
thing.
get more romance ones off the ground.
Right. How cool would
Agreed.
that be?
Yeah, whenever I was going through it, I was envisioning what I recalled of Sarah J. Maas's Courts of
Yes.
Thorns and Roses, and so it was you did a really amazing job of giving me visuals. Did you guys, while you were drafting, did you get sucked into that too, or it was just it was work for you? I don't know. Did
No,
you get sucked in?
it was fun, and I think that you in your head you have like a whole like book series.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Elytheum series.
In
is
order
very,
to
like-
write the details of the characters, I kind of had to develop the entire series in the back of my mind. And definitely as we were writing it, we wanted, we wanted each scene to be something where like we would actually enjoy doing this. Like this, we should be rendering an experience that if this were to exist in the real world, it would actually be fun and we would actually want to
Yeah.
go. And so that really did inform each of the world building details. It's like if we were to put on a fantasy experience like this, like how would we do that? How would we make that fun for people?
I feel like there might be a romantasy series in your future since Austin already has it all planned out and
They
everything.
would love that.
We would love to
That would be
experience
so much fun.
that. Our hearts,
Yeah.
I mean, all the inspirations that you cite really are series that we have loved, and we wanted to pay tribute to them and mash them all up in the Elytheum here.
Yeah, no, it's great. So one of the things that I like to dive into on this show is finding the story's undercurrent with the author or authors in your case. That's what I call the second beating heart of the story. So let's start with Austin, and Emily, please dive in and help us out if you can. Or if you will, I should say. Can you pinpoint the undercurrent beneath Jennifer and Scott's story?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a couple things, and one perhaps first and foremost is the relationship that these characters have with fiction, and with with fairy tale and with stories that seem larger than life. And what they are both dealing with and dealing with together is the degree to which that is misleading and causes expectations that lead you to be disillusioned with the world versus inspiring and capable of driving you to be better and to expect better out of your world. That's really
Mhm.
what they are both negotiating.
Yeah, they both have a piece of this, and from each other they learn that, Scott learns from Jennifer that actually you should aspire to more, and you can have these hopes and dreams that might feel unrealistic, but they're not. And it makes you shoot higher means you achieve more and you're happier. And so, and then Jennifer has to see Scott for who he is, and the quality she had maybe overlooked in him.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's great. That's beautiful. Perfect. For fun, can you guys come up with two or three tropes that readers can look forward to while reading Book Boyfriend for us?
Definitely enemies slash rivals to lovers. They
Yes.
are workplace rivals.
So there's another one.
And yes,
It's also very much like they're not in the workplace, but they are coworkers who have a lot of professional history built up that informs the enemies to lovers.
yes.
Um, and then as far as micro tropes,
There's forced proximity because they are
Right.
like on the same floor of this dorm, and they have to share, like co-ed room together.
college
Yeah.
So when you're in
Yeah.
your 30 or late 20s, they think they're in their late 20s, and you have to go back to college, and you're just like, wow, I'm living really close to these people that I not know.
makes a lot,
Yeah.
makes a lot of friction. But yeah, we've got we tried to pepper it with fun stuff that is very
Yeah.
to both romance and to romantasy. We've got kisses in the rain, we've got sword fights, we've got
Yeah.
all kinds of good stuff.
Yes, yeah, those intimate moments with Jennifer and Scott were a lot of fun. I did like the kisses in the rain scene. That was great. So you get a little crafty, or not crafty so much, but more about your process and things like that. So your writing team, do you have separate offices? Do you write in the same room? Where's your favorite place, or where's your must place do you have to write?
Well, Austin does not like to hear other people typing while he is typing. So that puts a little bit of a, we have to be in separate rooms.
Separate rooms.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So I like to just kind of work on the couch, and we do a kind of a back and forth process where I write an outline that's like really detailed, kind of a zero draft. And then he turns a zero draft into a first draft. And then I go look at his first draft and edit it. And then he edits my edit. So we go back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, we kind of share everything.
Yeah.
It's a very integrated process.
Yeah, I like that. I've never heard the term zero draft before in all my years, so that's a cool term. I like that. It's like you said, it's what many people would probably call an outline.
Yeah, it's like
is
a
it that
40
bare bones?
word
40,000?
word
Okay.
A big scripted outline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I don't know if I can call that an outline. That just feels like
Exactly.
that feels like a rough draft, right?
It's like a really, really rough draft. Like nobody
Yeah.
else can read it except for him.
Sure.
Yes, yeah. I like it because you're going over it multiple times, the two of you individually. So that's probably why I never really felt like there were two authors in that book. You know, you've
Yeah.
got one voice going on there, which is that what you were hoping for, trying for?
Yeah, that means a lot, and that is what we try to just. It's this combined voice. It's neither one of our voices. It's something else.
Which hopefully is the character's voice. I think we're kind of like
Yeah.
it helps with that blur where you're ultimately, especially when you're writing first person narration, you're trying to write a character that feels like their own person.
Mhm.
And it being the creation of both of us and therefore neither, I think helps with that effect.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, we know Austin likes to not hear typing while he is at work. Do you have, I'm going to call them superstitions, or do you have any routines like lighting a particular candle? Do you, either of you have anything like that that you can key us in on?
He's a big candle
I
person.
I love not so much as a ritual, I just love candles.
Yeah, big
Yes.
fan. I am more casual. I listen to the same music is the thing. Like I have this long writing playlist and it's a mix of classical and and movie soundtracks and it's just I've been building it for a
10
decade
years.
and
Yeah.
I don't ever really like that is what I listen to when I write. It just helps me get into the zone. I'm like,
It's awesome.
this is my work music and
Yeah.
I am now in my work mode.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a light switch or a trigger, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
once you hear the music, your mind's telling you, okay, time to buckle down and get to it. And then Austin, what are the scents that you
I mean,
like?
I'm a big
Everything.
fan of all scented candles, yeah, and I
Yeah,
take them fairly seriously. I like woodsy scents, I like sweet scents, I like baking scents. I really have discovered my affinity for scented candles over the past 3 or 4 years, and it's nice when your workplace smells sweet and welcoming.
It helps
I
because we have
agree.
this
I agree.
stinky dog,
We do. We
so
have this stinky dog.
I have
Oh, great.
cashmere honey vanilla going right
Oh,
now.
beautiful.
So
nice.
Fantastic.
so I'm right there with you. It's great.
Makes it come to work.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, can either of you give us a hint as to what's coming up next? Do you have any projects that you're super excited about or
Yeah.
can
Yes,
talk about?
we actually have our next adult romance coming out at the end of this year, and it is called Seeing Other People, and it is about two people who do not know each other, but they are both haunted literally by the ghosts of their exes, and they meet in a support group and
For the haunted.
for the haunted, of course, and team up to try to exorcise and heal from their ghosts.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I hope you come back and talk with me about
Yes,
that.
we
That
I would
sounds
will.
love
like
to.
so much fun.
We're pretty excited.
Great. Well, when this episode airs, Book Boyfriend will be out. So, folks, be sure to go out and order your copy today. Yes, thank you, Austin. Be sure to order your copy today. It's amazing and you won't be disappointed at all. Austin, where's the best place for readers to connect with you online?
Yeah, I mean the hub is our website, which is emilyandaustinwright.com, just all one word, emilyandaustinwright.com. And from there you can find
Our Instagrams.
info on our books and everything as far as our socials.
Okay, perfect. Nice and easy.
Nice.
Well, Austin and Emily, thank you so much for joining me. As I mentioned, I really love this book and I appreciate you both coming and chatting with us about it.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
This has been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Many thanks to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Undercurrents of Romance. You can find more information about the show at traceydevlyn.com/podcast. Undercurrents of Romance is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. I'll be back soon with another great read. In the meantime, enjoy the adventure, everyone.